This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome to hour number 3 here in the X-Zone tonight for, let me see, it's Tuesday, May the 26th. And you're listening to us around the world on the Starcom Radio Network and their website, www.starcomradionetwork.com. And for the very best of programming, and if you like to have real radio, I'm not talking about the radio that you're used to listening to. If you want to hear a guy who is going to make your day because he's honest, he's hardcore, he's got over 40 years experience as a professional broadcaster. Listen to the Ed Till Show Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. right here on the Starcom Radio Network. My guest this hour, X-Zone Nation, is Gordon Ellison, and he's a spiritual medium. He's a spiritual medium for the Bear Clan. And Gordon, welcome to the X-Zone.
Thank you very much.
Nice talking to you, Gordon. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a spiritual medium. I teach psychic development classes and meditation at my home. I'm a traditional dancer, powwow singer, and I do what I do best, working with spirit and bringing some connection between that world and this physical world.
Now, are you a member of the, the Ojibwe tribe?
Yep, I'm Ojibwe from the Timiskaming Nation, the Notre Dame de Nord,
Wow.
just outside of New Liskeard.
So how long have you been doing your spiritual mediumship, Gordon?
I've been actually doing the spiritual mediumship ever since I was about 26.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this all my life, but actually getting into doing readings, offering readings at the time of 26 years of age when I had a transformation in my life, like many people do, and decided to work with spirit and bring this understanding about both worlds together, that it's not so much hokey-pokey as TV might lead to believe, but there is actual basis foundation here that everybody can do what I do. Maybe not the mediumship part, but the psychic part at least, you know what I mean?
What was it in your life that caused this transformation for you?
I had a car fall on me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I had actually when I was younger. If we go back a little bit on this, I had every year my birthday, this man come to me and tell me at age 26, I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it started when I was about 6, 7 years old. I remember seeing this man very clearly. He wasn't anyone that everyone else saw, and come the age of 26, you know, at 7 you kind of forget that type of thing. But as life goes on, you keep worrying about that. And when I was 26 that year, my birthday, I didn't remember seeing the guy. I just went on my way of doing things, and I was fixing an idler arm under a car at my sister's house, and I jacked up the car on the front and had it all supported and whatnot. And not to go into great details of stories, but I heard someone call my name about 3 or 4 times, and thinking it was them. They're inside drinking, having a party, and I was the only one in the garage. I felt someone grab my feet, and at that moment I blacked out, and I was on a plane. Now, on this plane, I was looking out, watching what was going on, and the steward came up to me and asked if I made up my mind. I said, yeah, I think I'll stay. And at that moment, I felt my feet being dragged out from me, and I was pulled out from under the car, and standing in front of me was my baby brother, Roger, who died of crib death. And I've never met him. And at that point, I thought, well, okay, I guess I made my mind up. This is what I've done ever since.
That's quite the story. So how did the car fall on you?
It was the oddest thing. I mean, I jacked it up on both ends, like on the front bumper, and had tires underneath both sides, and put a cloth where my head would be. 'Cause back then, I had longer hair, danced powwows and stuff, kept my hair longer.
Right.
And I just, I don't know how it happened. And I just remember hearing my name being called and being kind of scolded a bit to get off my under there, and when I feel it grab, I remember at that point when I made the decision, feeling someone grab my feet, kind of get that flight or fight reflex. I knew nobody was in there. And as I rolled over and the car fell, it just missed my head. The bumper just missed my head. And I looked around, and there he was standing there and just smiled, and away he went. Took me 2 weeks to get back in the garage, by the way. But, after that I went back in and got the car and made the decision to do this. And now I teach psychic development, meditation at my house, spiritual development of any kind, and do lectures and workshops and that type of thing. I also train. I think it's very important to train yourself to hone the skill that you have. I go see James Van Prague regularly whenever I can, Tony Stockwell, a lot of very well-known mediums that actually hone their craft to help me where I am, where I can help other people.
How does a medium hone their craft? What do you do? How do you prepare yourself to excel into it?
Not just the fact that meditation is one of the biggest principles of it. It's a very important step to working towards it. Not everybody can be a medium. Everybody can be a psychic. The difference between the two, the psychic retrieves information, and spirit, when they're talking with a medium, they're receiving the information. So the training takes part about learning how to listen, how to make the connection, how to tell when facts is coming, how to tell between the facts of what's happening and what you're feeling, and discerning between that. So there's a lot of intricate little things you're learning about how to tell it's not your thought, rather it's someone that's speaking to you and what's going on between them. I mean, from learning how spirit come through to deliver the message, how to deliver the message, how to take that message does make sense to you, to give it to that person and work with that. So there's a lot of training in the sense of classes that you can take, where it's mediumship development classes, where you're practicing theories and ways that these mediums have honed their skills over the years. They kind of pass down the gauntlet, if you will. And as that gauntlet gets passed down, you learn what you take from it, what works for you, and you pass it on to somebody else.
What is your goal as a teacher?
Is to bring everybody's awareness that the spirit world is not as far, not as impossible, that it is there, that there's more to life than just what we see it as a three-dimensional thing that's here, and to serve spirit, to help spirit to get through its connection and helping their family become aware that there's no end to life. Life continues, whether it's on this level or other planes of levels of existence.
As a member of Canada's First Nations, are you, the members of the First Nation that I've had the opportunity of speaking to over the years, seem to be so much closer to the spiritual realm than the rest of us Canadians. Why is that so?
Well, I think it comes down to the one way I can explain to the medicine wheel, and you talk about the colors of 4 different nations, the colors of white, red, yellow, and black. And black being the West is a doorkeepers of the West, and being the doorkeepers of the West, that's where the spirits go. And with that, it's not just, I think the natives, because they have more of a sense of spirit awareness through their culture of, growing up, if you will, throughout the years, the eons of years. And when other societies have come in, they may not have been on that spiritual path at that point because there's other interests that are there. So I think some diversities end up moving towards that realm of that spirit world in their own level. Not just Aboriginal people, but different peoples, different nations have that, where they had some kind of existence of the Druids, not such a thing. And it's just that it's become prominent because we're always working with the earth, we're always working with that spirit. We recognize it's a spirit in every single thing that's living and non-living, animate and inanimate objects that are there. And I think this brings an awareness to us to, not just believe out of faith, but believe because we've experienced, we've seen it, and there's that ideology that everything exists everywhere. There's energy in everything.
Do you believe we're all connected?
Absolutely. Like we say when we go into the sweat lodge, all my relations, that's you, that's all my relations, in every creed, color, and mixture of the world. That's everybody. We all come from the same cloud. We're raindrops in that cloud. We land on different places in the earth, but we're all related.
Where do you think, or where do you believe we come from, Gordon?
I myself, personally, I know that the spirit world that exists, that's there, that's one thing, but I think, to myself, I think as advanced human beings from other planes of existence have come here to kind of, if you will, play a game where it's almost see how we exist, bring us to a different planet, see how we exist on that level field. The dimensions that you get into, that where spirit exists, and the ideas of extraterrestrial is so far-fetched in between. We're taught fear about that, but I think a lot in reality that we come from many different dimensions, many different places, and it's not just the spirit world that we're from.
So would you call this plane, this existence, the melting pot?
Yeah, pretty much the melting pot, the school of hard knocks.
Mm-hmm.
When I talk to my spirit guides, they talk about this being an illusion. This is actually what they call the dream state. And they say that when we cross over, even when we sleep, we venture into reality, what is real to us.
With all the experience you have as a psychic, as a medium, communicating with spirit on the other side, what is your interpretation of death as told to you by those on the other side who have passed? What happens to us when we die?
When we pass, there's a few things that go on in every individual's mind through either dogma, religion, or belief, or fear. I know that the synapse gas, everything else that's fired and that's going on, that's the human body part. We're two species in one. We're an organism, and we're a spirit matter. And those connections become human. And when that body dies, yes, it misfires. It happens. That's what happens there. But our transition, when the body's contract at its end of its life, our contract doesn't end. We experience and we move forward. So we're able to tie into that spirit world that's tied in just below our belly button, and we're drawn back to that light source. It's a common fact. It's almost like salmon running upstream. They come back from the sea. They go to the same place. It's a common fact that they know inside it's there. And we're much the same way. And when we pass over, whether we believe it or not, sometimes people say, well, that person may be stuck. They don't get stuck. They're a confusion state in fear. And once fear is removed, then they understand by somebody coming and helping them cross over. And so many people who are in that transition of death will talk about Aunt Mary at the end of the bed, or, their dad coming to see them a couple of times, and that's what they do. It's not an illusion with the medicine that's there. It's actually they're coming to say, hey, it's okay, I'm going to help you at that time.
When somebody comes to you as a spiritual medium, what are they looking for? How can you help them?
They're looking for answers to the spirit world. They're looking for last messages or something that their aunt, uncle, family member, they're looking for closure. They're looking for validation, peace of mind. So many things are thrown around with that. And when I tell people when they come for readings, come with an open mind. Do not tell me anything. I don't want to know anything when a person comes for a reading. And I will tell them, I say, I cannot guarantee you that spirit can come. Because I can be sitting here talking to someone that you may not want to talk to, which may be your uncle, and you want to see your mom.
Right.
But it's the strongest soul, the strongest spirit, that's usually the one that's coming forward. And I call them a spokesperson, and they'll speak on behalf of the others. And they may be speaking at some point, that mother may come through. Because they don't all learn how to communicate right away when they pass over. When we pass over, we have to learn as spirits how to communicate with the physical world. Spirit's always listening. The physical world, we're so blinded about what we're going on every day, we don't see what's happening, so it's hard for them to connect with us. And sometimes that's why they come to a medium or arrange for yourself or someone else to visit a medium or even a psychic to get that information, that validation that they know about, not what I know, but what they know about. Because it's not about me. It's about that spirit and about that person that comes for the reading. I'm just a translator.
But you're also the conduit between this reality and the next. Now,
and the only difference is I learned how to listen.
Oh, okay. But let me ask you this. With everyone who has lived in this reality and who's passed on the other side, that means there's a lot of different souls or spirits out there. If Aunt Molly comes to Gordon Ellison as a spiritual medium, and she wants to connect with Uncle Bob, who has passed on the other side. How does Uncle Bob know that Gordon Ellison is trying to make a connection with him so that information can be relayed to the person on this side of the veil?
Spirits are introduced to the interpreters, being us, the mediums that are there. They're introduced to the energy that's existence for them to make the communication, and it's brought to them, it's brought to their awareness. It's awareness that that spirit has. So when someone wants to talk to, say you want to talk to Uncle Frank,
right?
And, how do I get hold of Frank? Well, all of a sudden Frank starts talking about you. I have an uncle here. He's talking about his name being Frank, kind of a middle-aged, a little bit more middle-aged man, and wants to talk to you. And that's how spirit comes through. They know the links of the people that are awakened. And when I talk to my class or anybody else about psychic development in any degree, I said there's levels. There's 3 levels. There's a sleep stage, the awake stage, and the awakened. And the awakened stage is a stage where you're working with spirit, and spirit knows that you're a conduit. The awake stage is where you have an experience, or you go to a psychic or a medium. You have some type of paranormal experience. That's an awakened stage. The sleep stage, either dogma, religion, or non-faith, skeptics, they're in that stage. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And when that connection comes through from spirit, they know when that time comes. I've been meditating many times in reading before a reading would start, and I would have the spirit already communicating, talking about the person coming for the reading. They'll describe to me even an injury that they have where my back might start hurting, or I might feel really, really nauseous. And when I introduce to the reading and talk about what's going on, they say, yeah, I've been feeling sick for a week. Oh, okay, this is what happened. Or maybe my dad passed of a real serious illness of cancer or something. And then that's, you make the connection. You know what I mean? So spirit knows when that person, they'll actually arrange for that person, they'll help in their physical life for them to be introduced to a medium. Some very curious way, they'll help. There's always an interconnection with spirit that's always working with you.
Exonation, my guest this hour is Gordon Ellison. He is a spiritual medium from the Bear Clan here in Ontario. Gordon, I'm going to tell you something, and this is coming from the bottom of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I admire the members of the First Nations because you keep the tradition, you keep spirituality, you keep everything alive. And, if the rest of us were to use this example that you have tried to share with us from day one, I really believe that the people of Ontario, Canada, and I'm sure the rest of the world, would have a better understanding, because it's my belief that we can only understand the present if we have gone and researched the past. And it's only when we research and learn from the past, accept where we are in the present, that we actually have the journey to the future mapped out correctly.
Yeah, we have to learn to live in the constant rather than linear. Yeah. Because the constant is past, present, and future all at once. And linear is Monday to Friday, here to next month. Live right now. And right now is past, present, and future happening at this moment. Because everything you've done or are going to do affects all 3 timelines. We're all related. We're all connected. We're like that dream catcher. And we're all connected, whether we believe it or not, whether we like that person or don't like that person. We're all connected. And it's a spiritual learning growth here for us. We're here to learn lots. We get on the other side. We're going to say to each other, wow, you're really hard on me in that life, but wow, look what I learned. And the people in our lives that are the hardest people to deal with, the ones we may even hate, I don't like to use that word, but they're the hardest teachers. They're our best teachers because they teach us about ourselves so much. We just have to see it.
Gordon, how can we learn to better understand what our purpose is here in this lifetime? How do we know, or how can we learn what the lesson is that we need to be taught?
Well, I think for each individual, first of all, I'll say life's lesson. When I asked when I was 6 years old of a spirit that I saw while I was in Toronto, Kingston Road, and I asked them at 6 years old, why am I here? You're here to learn lots. That's the first and foremost things. And it may be in every degree that we may not agree with or associate with or agree with other people, but we're here to initially learn lots. And in that, our soul purpose, our soul's journey is what we're here for. not our wife, not our husband, our friend, our mother, son, daughter. It's for our own soul journey. And each spirit that's here, each entity, is here for their own soul's journey. And how to do that is to really look at what means in your life, what matters to you most. And that's about yourself, helping yourself. And you help yourself, you can help other people. And you know that this life isn't it, and it's short. It may seem long, but it's very short. And whatever you do to people here, harming-wise, you will go back on the other side through a viewing room, and you'll feel that emotion 10 times until you're okay with it, until you learn that, okay, I can deal with this and I accept this. So you have to be careful what you do to people here. So like I say, do unto you as do unto others, right?
That's right. So would you say that this planet, this realm, this existence is the classroom of the cosmos?
This is the school of hard knocks. This is the university of it all. And there are spirits over there that refuse to come here because it's so difficult. They see what we go through and how hard it is here, you know, and how human sometimes is. The human race seems to kind of eat at each other, you know. And that school that we learn best. We've been other places where it's really wonderful and really nice and everybody gets along and there's so much equilibrium of energy that when we come here, this is where we really learn what it is to be a human. And it's hard because some people don't understand the other dimensions and have a hard time even dealing with the spirit world, rather along talking about this other stuff that's here. But when we cross over, we don't go and sit on clouds and have halo wings and play harps. We don't do that at all. We have jobs over that we do. We become ambassadors. We help people through different situations, whether through drug addictions or suicide, kids that are going through things. We help them as well as we help the physical. And we do that work because it's something we love to do. I asked Samuel one time, I said, how come the work over there seems so good, yet the work over here seems so difficult? And he says, well, you have to be paid. You have to have a monetary value to feel a worth in order to get the job done. So here you're kind of fed like a cookie. Over there you get to do what you want, but you love to do what you want. That's the difference. The trick here is to learn to love to do what you want. When you have that, then you're rich.
Exonation, our guest this hour is Gordon Ellison. He is a spiritual medium. He's also a spiritual medium from the Bear Clan. If you'd like to get a hold of Gordon for a one-on-one consultation, his website is gordonellison.com. Gordon, stand by. You and I have to take a commercial break. We'll be back shortly as the X-Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center in beautiful Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. You can always give us a call, toll-free, 1-800-610-7035. And when you call in, just go to extension 0, and it'll bring you right into the studio. You can always send an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, and on all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. I'll be back on the other side as we continue investigating the world of the paranormal and the science of the parapsychology here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Gordon Ellison and I will be back shortly. Don't go away.
Then consider David Champion, a psychic medium for more than 20 years with thousands of ratings under his belt. David Champion will make you feel comfortable. He has proven to be honest and accurate. He's a straight shooter. There's no guesswork. What he sees is what you get. While he is a medium, most of the calls focus on relationships, not only love, but work, school, neighbors, and more. Need help with finding a job and preparing for the interview? Are you dealing with people who are obstacles in your path? For more information, go to davidchampion.com, $1.50 per minute paid by credit card with a minimum of 30 minutes. For your reading with David Champion, call 1-877-702-8700. 1-877-702-8598. That's 1-877-702-8598. In the world today, most people want what is called the American dream. They want love, a family, a fancy car, and a nice home in a nice neighborhood. They also want a good job and money to travel to interesting places. Life is great because they have the American dream. But what happens to this dream if they hear they have a devastating illness like lung cancer? The doctor may tell them they need treatment immediately or they will be dead in 6 months. He tells them you need surgery and then you need chemotherapy to get better. When they get home, they think of many unanswered questions. They ask themselves, will I survive when so many of my friends with cancer have died? How will I deal with the pain, hair loss, nausea and vomiting, sore mouth and other side effects of chemotherapy and pain of surgery? Will I be able to keep on working? What will happen to my family? Then they look at the internet and wonder, is there a better way to deal with lung cancer and return to my American dream? Carl Helvey can tell you yes, there is a better way. Carl Helvey is a registered nurse with a doctorate in public health and a 38-year lung cancer survivor. Carl was given 6 months to live when diagnosed, and he refused chemotherapy and surgery. Carl used alternative interventions. Those not only helped him overcome lung cancer, but also to remain cancer-free and healthy for over the past 36 years since recovery. In his book, You Can Beat Cancer Using Alternative Integrative Interventions, Dr. Helvey will tell you his story of using all-natural treatments for lung cancer and continuing to work during his treatment. Free of pain and discomfort, Carl will also share how he remained cancer and disease-free since then without chronic illnesses or prescribed medications. His story is supplemented with chapters by Dr. Bernie Siegel, Dr. Francesco Contreras, and Dr. James Forsyth, alternative integrative physicians, and Dr. Kim Dalzell and Tanya Harder-Pierce, health professionals. All have successfully helped others overcome cancer. Research presented by the alternative physicians on their treatments for lung cancer demonstrate a significantly higher long-term survival rate for lung cancer clients than those obtained by conventional doctors. In addition, their clients were free of or had reduced side effects. You Can Beat Lung Cancer Using Alternative Integrative Interventions by Dr. Carl Helvey is now available at all major book outlets and at www.beatlungcancer.net. That's www.beatlungcancer.net. This information may help you return to the American dream.
The Alien Cosmic Expo will be held in Brantford, Ontario, June 26, 27, 28, and will feature 24 internationally acclaimed experts and researchers of UFOs, crop circles, alien abductions, and much more in this 3-day 2015 summer Canadian event. Experts in the field of extraterrestrials and alien encounters, out-of-body experiences, past life regression, soul reading, psychic, and mediumship will all be presented with professionalism, integrity, and credibility, making the Alien Cosmic Expo the largest event of its kind in Canada for 2015. The exhibitor hall will feature a spectacular lineup of gifted mediums, psychics, astrologers, channelers, aura photography, healers, as well as books, DVDs, alternative health products, crystals, jewelry, and much more, completing the venue with something for everyone. For all information and to purchase your tickets for the Alien Cosmic Expo, go to www.aliencosmicexpo.com. That's www.aliencosmicexpo.com. This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Hi, this is Eric Rawls of Cosmoverse.com, and you're listening to Rob McConnell in the X Zone.
Hi, this is Blade Runner, and you are listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Hi, I'm Laura Sabrin of Feast to Fields Organic Vineyards in Jordan, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Hi, my name is Lady Ashley, the White Witch of Niagara-on-the-Lake, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal talk radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Boy, I remember doing those lead-ins when I was at News Talk 610 CKTB, and that was many, many years ago. We're in our 24th year of doing this show. I remember when the idea came to me to do this, we had started publishing the X Chronicles newspaper, which is still published every month. And I got a call from Brian Wild, who was a producer at 900 CHML here in Hamilton, and he says, Rob, I'm going to make you an opportunity of a lifetime. To make a long story short, spent a week with now a very good friend of mine. We've had a great friendship over the many years I've been doing radio. Bill Kelly, who is still at CHML. Did a week with Bill Kelly, and the rest, well, as they say, is history. So, here we are now on the Starcom Radio Network worldwide, and I must tell you, if you want real radio listening, real radio programming, radio that is targeted to you, the honest you, this is the network. And listen to my buddy, Ed Till, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. right here on the Starcom Radio Network. My guest this hour is Gordon Ellison. He is a spiritual medium. He is the spiritual medium from the Bear Clan. And Gordon, great pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Thank you for having me.
What is the Bear Clan?
The Bear Clan, each clan, with Native people, we don't really have a last name, as per se my name, Ellison. Our names are given to us as totems of animals. With the Bear Clan, myself is the medicine people. And the bears' characteristics of that clan itself, they would take care of the tribe, if you will, or the village that they're in, and circle, as a bear does, be very protective. And there's totems that align themselves with that. So a Bear Clan wolf totem, and it's pretty much a last name, if you will. And other tribes, other different tribes, will have their clanship as well, snipe clans, heron clans, and each clan has a different duty in that. We're all in a circle. Nobody's above, nobody's below. We're all part and play equal party in there. Even the chief, and people think that the chief is the one who's in charge. It's not. It's the clan mothers.
The clan mothers?
Exceptions with that. Yeah, the clan mothers. They're the ones that are making sure that everybody's doing their right, dutiful thing, that the chiefs are acting the way they should be, that the Bear Clan's doing what their jobs are supposed to be doing. So that's pretty much what the Bear Clan is. They're medicine people, and they work with the medicines, with the spirit as well. And it doesn't mean that a wolf clan can't work with medicine or the spirit, but there's just our duty in that job, the title itself.
I was
so
wondering.
I can meet a Bear Clan from someone out west,
right,
or someone down south from a different tribe.
Gotcha. So it's like you're all part of the same family.
Exactly.
Is it true that when I don't know if it's still done today, but in days gone by, when a child was born and brought into the tribe, that the child drank the milk of all the women in the tribe?
In some cultures and some tribes, yeah, it's a little different. In different cultures, they would have that. Yeah, that would be something that happened. With myself, I didn't know. I didn't grow up on my reserve. I grew up in Toronto. But I'm a practicing traditionalist, and a lot of the things that I do know of that was done younger, It's still done sometimes today, and up in Moosonee, where my auntie's from, up in the Cree country up there.
Yeah. I when anyone says the Indian reservation or the reserve, I find that so appalling. It just isn't right, because I've got a weird way of looking at things. You probably know that by now, Gordon.
I like that. I like it.
You know, here we are. We go back in history. We go back in time. The Europeans came over to North America, you know, and all the atrocities that we bestowed on the First Nations, the real residents of this country. You know, the giving blankets with the plague, you know, chasing them off their land, killing, and whenever I watch a Western, I can't understand why the Indians are the bad guys. In my world, as I see it, we're the invaders, for God's sake. We do the same thing if anybody was doing this to our home as well.
But according to tradition, and they talk about the four directions, that, you know, the four peoples that made their cast of the four directions at that one point in life, they're all going to meet back in the middle. They're all going to meet back in the middle, that blending. And they're going to know they're all related. There's going to be a point in time they're going to know they're all related. So even all the atrocities, I mean, yes, it was bad. You know,
it was, yeah.
But a lot of different cultures, you know, and the thing is we learn from it. And I think it's important to learn from it. And we can go on and go on about the residential schools and stuff that I've talked to friends that they swear up and down that never happened, I made it up, you know, and I'm like, you have no idea, you know, and because they don't know, they're not made aware, and a lot of it's hush-hush. But I think in that, too, that there's a healing, a great healing, and with the work that I do, I tell people who want to be famous, for lack of better words, I say, well, you have to have a really thick back, a turtle shell back, because this business is a lot of pain. And not just for what you're doing, but for people. My family disowning me for doing this because very big belief in religion and you know, the Catholic faith and stuff, you know, and you get that. But if you're willing to do that and go through that and go through the atrocity you spoke of, there's always a good to come out of it. There's always a good to come out of it.
I had the pleasure
and
of...
We call the reservation the bush, by the way.
Bush?
We don't refer to the reserve. Yeah, we call it the bush. We're going to the bush. Because it's where the trees are, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we call it the bush.
I love the respect that the members of the First Nations have for Mother Earth. And there's a commercial that was on TV a number of years ago. I don't know if you remember it, Gordon, where the camera slowly panned into a member of the First Nations. And there was this...
Yeah.
And he had a tear coming down his cheek.
That's Floyd Redcrow.
That was such a powerful commercial. The message was, it was right there in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
my wife's uncle Tonto knew him, and they talked about that.
Yeah.
They talked about how that's coming to par, you know. And it is sad. We take too many trees, and we take too much, and we take too much, and take too much, and the earth's suffering. And if you don't take care of the mother, and that goes for mothers who are having babies, younger ones and stuff, we don't take care of them, there's going to be a real devastation from that. And we're feeling the effects. The earth's starting to split. The earth's starting to crumble. Holes opening up without expectations, you know, fault lines moving,
big time,
readjusting. Yeah, so the earth's kind of going to come back and readjust itself if we don't take care of it.
You know, it's just like all these earthquakes that are happening. And once again, the way I look at the things is that, well, you know, for so many years we've been taking the hydraulic fluid out of the earth, and that's exactly what the oil is, between the tectonic plates and in the reservoirs. You know, something's got to give.
Yeah, and it will. And as man's done before, and, you know, we'll learn from the mistake, and we'll make the mistake, and we'll learn from it again. The world will not end. People ask me, so it's going to end. It's not going to end. There's transitions. That's what happens. There's transitions. And we're much like children. We're still much like children trying to make things work, and we break, and we don't mean to. But power comes in play. That's the one thing with all nations, not just Aboriginal nations, but the power. And I'm not trying to beat up on government, but unfortunately that's where power lays.
That's right.
And if we can get to the understanding and go to First Nations or not the First Nations, but United Nations and say enough. We don't have to. We have the food. We have the adaptability to feed everybody on this earth. We have the adaptability for everybody to have something. We can eliminate the need for want. And Gene Roddenberry, when they said in Star Trek, The New Generation, there's a quote there that said, we eliminated the need for want. Then nobody else will want anything. There'll be no robberies. You don't need to. You have it.
Yeah. I just got a message from one of our listeners, and they said, earthquakes in Oklahoma and Kansas. Never when I was a kid. It just has to be the fracking. There is just no other way. So once again, we found a way how to rape the earth for our own, in my opinion, senseless needs, because all we have to do instead of spending all this money on going to Mars or going back to the moon, instead of wasting so much money, why don't we spend the money on the problems on this planet and help the people on this planet before we go to the conquest of space? And hey, I understand it. I understand why it's being done. But take care of the problems first that are here on this planet. Feed the hungry. Cure the sick.
Yes.
Give shelter to the homeless, for God's sake. If anybody would have told me when I was growing up that there would be children going to school in Canada hungry every morning because they have no food, I would have told them they're nuts. Yeah. But it's happening.
And it's really sad to see, And I remember I'm kind of chuckling a little bit because you remind me of Neil Donald Walsh, the author of The Conversation with God. You speak the same tone that he has, and it's really nice to listen to.
Oh, thank you, sir.
You understand, and that's a big thing. That's a real big thing. And when you get people who understand, that's where you can make a difference. It can be a little bit of something, but it's a difference. And Spirit's always trying to intermingle, and they'll give you songs and poems of things, in the song that, everything's made to be broken. They're telling you that's what life's about. There's no trying to fix it, make it perfect. There's no control. If you listen for a moment to rule of first thought, it's always Spirit. Second thought is ours. And I teach that to my students all the time. I teach it wherever I can. Because I ask them, I said, how do I know what I'm thinking isn't what I'm thinking, not what you're saying? And Samuel, one of the angels, he says, remember this, rule of first thought is always ours. It comes fast, you can snap your fingers. Second thought is humans, because it deduces, it tries to logicize it, and you lose the message and intention.
As I said earlier, Gordon, I've been doing this show now for 24 years. The only reason for this show is to bring as many people like yourself to the other side of my coffee table here, because when I'm talking to a guest like you, it's you and I. Yes, there's listeners out there, but the conversation is between you and I. It's just like we're sitting at Tim Hortons having a coffee.
Sure.
Because in today's world, people don't listen. They don't. The art of communication is dead. And all I want to do each and every night is to make the difference with one person, to touch one person, to make a positive difference in a life of one person. That's it. Just one person.
Gordon Higginson, he was a famous medium from it was the Arthur Finley School of Psychic Development and Mediumship in England. And he was a very good, very well-known medium, but didn't like the fame. He wasn't that type of person. He stated, if you can help in a crowd of 60 people or 30 people or 20 people, and you do reading and you only get one right, only one right, he said you made a difference in somebody's life. That's what matters.
I like that. I truly like that. Let me ask you an let me ask you an off-the-cuff question. As
Sure.
a medium, is there anyone on the other side that would like to give me a message?
Yes, this gentleman by the name of Frank, I'm not sure who he is, but he's also talking about your father that passed. Do you understand?
Not really. Not really. My dad's alive.
No, I know that. There's a gentleman by the name of Frank that he knows of.
Okay.
Okay, this gentleman by the name of Frank. Now, I want you to ask your dad about this because it's either a friend of his, someone that he knew of. But he wants me to let you know your dad's not doing good. He says your dad's not doing too well. When you see your dad, ask him how his breathing's doing. I'm not trying to make you afraid of nothing, but they talk about this as a point of interruption so that you can help that person because there's an issue coming here with his breathing that they're talking about.
Wow, I'll certainly check into that.
He wants to let you know. He says, look into that. He says, you'll find when he says no, when he's breathing, you'll hear that little rasp in there because there's an issue with the bronchitis or issue something with his chest that's going on.
Well, I'll certainly check into that. And I know in the past, my dad has had problems there. You know, so that's validation right then and there, my friend.
Yeah, and they just want you to pay attention to this. And his name's Frank.
Frank.
Someone that he knew that passed away by the name of Frank.
Well, I certainly will. I certainly will.
Yeah.
What message, what final thought would you like to leave with the worldwide audience of the X-Zone Nation and the great audience of Starcom Radio Network?
Stop being so hard on yourself.
I think everybody,
stop being so hard on yourself.
Stress.
Life is an expectation of learning and acceptance. And an age is an insecurity that we develop over the years to give excuse to things we don't want to do. There's only 2 birth dates in any individual we have that's coming into this world from birth and leaving to go back to the spirit realm.
You know,
I from the physical world, and there's no death.
I use an analogy when I speak to people that I have the pleasure of meeting when I go out and I do lectures, I do seminars. The way I see death, the way I see life is that the reality is the moment we're conceived is the moment we start to die. And we're like caterpillars in this lifetime. And as we go into our cocoon, we start to leave this lifetime. And when we come out of the cocoon, we're on the other side. It's a transformation, a transfiguration. And Mother Nature has given us example time after time after time after time. The beautiful trees that come to life in spring and how they flourish in summer. And then as they grow older in the older days of fall, they wither, they lose their leaves. Come winter, they all go to sleep. But what happens in the spring? The cycle returns, and the cycle starts all over again. Mother Nature gives us the examples, but we're too damn stupid to get the message.
Exactly. It's right there in front of our face.
Exactly.
Sometimes you have to stop and look at the trees. You know, look at the water. When someone has someone that dies and it's so bad, look at the water. It still runs. Life still goes on. It has to. It's a cycle of universal law. And universal law supersedes man's law. And that's what's important to remember.
Gordon, I've got about 6 minutes left. Let's talk about the Alien Cosmic Expo. First of all, I've thoroughly enjoyed having you on the show, and I'd love to have you back on in the future.
I look forward to it. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it.
I enjoy it, too. I enjoy your honesty. And
Thank you. That's one thing I believe in.
Yeah. What are you going to be doing at the Alien Cosmic Expo?
Well, I'm going to be talking about the process of communication between the physical and the spirit world. I'm going to be leading into some moving away from the stereotypes of psychic mediumship, connections with the spirit world, that type of thing, and show people how they can communicate as well. Do some probably some audience readings if it happens to take place. I will hit on the topic because it's about UFOs, about my experience, and about extraterrestrial life that's actually here on this earth that people aren't aware of, and our fear-based. We're trying to get away from that to let people know that what you see is actually what you see, is not what you think that's there.
Well, the First Nation culture is rich with examples of alien visitations and strange craft in the sky.
Yeah.
What was your experience? We've got about 6 minutes. I'm sorry, 6 minutes now.
I've done a lot of photography.
Right.
And it's interesting that a lot of the things that have happened are during the daytime. And I was going through my photos at the old fort, and I was having a picture of this. I was looking at it for some, blurps and stuff. So I was looking, I was taking out some things, and I noticed to the left as I zoomed in a little bit. And I wanted to be a fighter pilot when I was growing up as a kid, so I know planes. I know them really well. This was your typical flying saucer that was caught on my camera without me knowing, and this is maybe 6-7 months after the fact. And when I took it to one of the gentlemen that's going to be at that show, he said, yes, definitely. He said, did you know that your place is a hotbed for UFO experiences in the Niagara area?
Now, you're in Fort Erie, right?
Idea.
Now, you're in Fort Erie,
Ontario.
Yeah. I used to do the X Zone from 610 CKTB in St. Catharines for a number of years. And the number of people who would call in with UFO sightings in that area is just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Hey, listen, time has come where you and I must say so long for now. But once again, I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure talking to you, and I'm looking forward to meeting you on June 26, 27, 28 as you'll be one of the very, very reputable speakers at the Alien Cosmic Expo in Brantford. So thank you very much, Gordon, for joining us. A great pleasure.
Great meeting you as well.
And let's do this again.
Take care of yourself.
I will, my friend.
Okay.
Thank you.
Be well. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gordon. What a guy. Exo Nation, Gordon Ellison has been my guest this hour. He is a spiritual medium from the Bear Clan. He's also a spiritual medium. His website is gordonellison.com. That's www.gordonellison.com. Talking to Gordon, you can hear the honesty. You can hear the down-to-earth, grounded way that he talks. He believes that what he is saying is true. He's not out to scam. He's not out to do anything but help. And isn't that what we should all be doing? I've used this many times, and I'm sure if my producer from days gone by, Corey, is listening, he'll say, oh, he's going to get into this little spiel of his again. We go out at Christmas time, and we go deep into our pockets. You've got the Salvation Army. You've got the Red Feather Campaign. You've got all these different organizations that, you know what? They're asking for help because they help people. And you walk around with this great feeling that the world is wonderful, everything is great, and that we can accomplish so much. Why can't we do that all year long? Why can't we just say, you know what? There are people who are hungry. There are people who are living on the streets in Toronto and Montreal, New York City. You name the city, there's homeless people. Kids going to school, hungry. Kids going to bed at night, hungry. Mom and dad have to work 2 jobs to make ends meet. The unemployment situation is way out of control. Let's bring the industry back to Canada. Let's bring the industry back to the United States. Hey, I don't know about you, Exo Nation, but if I had to pay a little bit more for a quality product, knowing that the product is made in Canada or the United States, and that we are putting workers back in the workplace, I wouldn't mind paying a little extra, would you? I would rather see the great scientists of this beautiful planet of ours working together for free energy. Let's get rid of fossil fuels. Sure, there's a lot of people making a lot of money, but as Spock would say, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Why don't we work together? Why don't we live together? Do we really need to have wars Sure, because wars generate money. Wars also generate employment. It's called soldiers. It's called sailors. There's enough problems in the world today that need to be solved. So stop worrying about sending manned missions to Mars. Stop worrying about going to the deepest corners of the universe. Let's work on this planet. Let's make planet Earth a better place to live for each and every one of us. Sound like a plan to you? That's my plan. Working to make this world a better place. Today. Not by going out to space, but by taking care of those who need our help today. Well, that's it for now, Exonation. I'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock as once again we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. From everyone here at the X-Zone Radio TV show and the Starcom Radio Network, I am Rob McConnell. And remember, help each other. And always remember to keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light.